Good day, brilliant viewers, and welcome to Cinema Scene. In tribute of World Teachers' Day on October 5th, as recognized by the United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, we present 3 outstanding films to celebrate the noble role teachers have in society: To Sir with Love, Music of the Heart, and Lean on Me. Our first film, To Sir with Love, is set in England, where Mark Thackeray, played by Oscar-winning screen star Sidney Poitier, is having no luck trying to find an engineering job. So he decides to take a temporary teaching job at North Key Secondary School. He quickly discovers that the school doesn't have any strict disciplinary standards in place, nor much of a teaching blueprint. His colleagues explain that other schools have given up hope on these kids. After just a few short weeks, Mr. Thackeray loses his temper in class.
Boys, out. The girls, stay where they are.
One day, Mr. Thackeray has an epiphany. He realizes his students are actually entering adulthood and will be graduating in a few months, so he decides to handle his class in an adult fashion. The subject of his class is simply life, and they talk about proper etiquette in society.
Those are out. They are useless to you. I suddenly realized that you are not children, that you will be adults in a few weeks, with all the responsibilities that implies. So, from now on, you will be treated as such by me and by each other. As adults. Responsible adults. Next, we are going to be reasonable with each other.
The students respond favorably with many questions and sincere discussions. They start to call their teacher Sir. Mr. Thackeray expounds on virtues such as forgiveness, patience, and honesty. Eventually, he decides to bring them to an art museum. The students are finally excited about something educational. He extends his teaching into the kitchen as he shows them how to make a salad, an inexpensive yet healthy meal if they are on a budget. The students start to respect and trust Sir very much, even confiding to him some of their personal problems. Word spreads around the streets, and the neighborhood folks start to take kindly to him as well. Eventually, Mr. Thackeray receives his much sought-after job invitation. So the big question remains, will he stay at school as a teacher or follow his field of study to be an engineer? This film was produced by Columbia Pictures in 1967 and received a Directors Guild of America nomination for Outstanding Directorial Achievement in Motion Pictures. For Emmy-winning Australian director James Clavell, it was also received a Grammy nomination of Best Original Score written for a motion picture or television show.
What work did you do, sir?
I waited tables. I washed dishes for a time. Cars. For a year, I was a janitor in an apartment block. All sorts of jobs.
You wash dishes, sir?
I did?
Yeah, but you talk posh and all.
That wasn't easy.
You didn't always talk like that then.
When I was your age, I used a patois, a kind of simple English. I go and bust your bungie if you don't get up off this place.
Didn't understand a word, sir.
Well, I don't always understand what you say either. But the point is, if you're prepared to work hard, you can do almost anything. You can get any job you want.
Our next film is Music of the Heart, a 1999 production directed by Wes Craven. It stars 2-time Oscar winner Meryl Streep as Roberta Gusperi. It is inspired by the documentary Small Wonders and based on the true story of one teacher's plight to give inner-city students the opportunity to discover the power of music through the violin. For her outstanding performance, Meryl Streep earned many accolades, including a Golden Globe Award, a Screen Actors Guild Award, and an Oscar nomination for Best Actress in a Leading Role. As the movie unfolds, we learn that Miss Gusperi has a degree in teaching and is also trained to play the violin. Unfortunately, her goal of creating a violin class for children does not spark any interest. As destiny would have it, she meets a friend who offers her an opportunity to teach at Central Park East 1 Elementary School in East Harlem, New York. Due to Miss Gusperi's lack of experience, Principal Janet Williams, played by Golden Globe winner Angela Bassett, turns her down. Our first glimpse of Miss Guspari's resilience comes when she shows up at the principal's office the very next day to ask for a second chance. She brings her 2 young sons to prove to Principal Williams that children do have the potential to play beautiful music.
Did I not make myself clear yesterday?
Oh, yes, of course. I just wanted to show you something. Just take a second. Ready, boys?
Are we having a talent show? I should have brought my tap shoes.
5, 6, ready, and...
After the impromptu performance, Miss Guspari is offered a temporary position. As the exciting new violin program takes off, Miss Guspari is faced with many challenges, such as being unfamiliar with an inner-city environment, parents who do not see the importance of learning to play the violin, and lack of support from the school's music director. The students' big moment to prove themselves comes at the spring concert. After the initial success with the experimental violin class, the film moves forward to 10 years later. The program has expanded to 3 schools and 150 children, and Miss Guspari also tutors at her home. Everything seems great until Miss Guspari finds out that her East Harlem violin program will no longer be funded the following year by the Board of Education. Miss Guspari, her students, and the community rally together to find a way to keep the much-loved violin program going. Music of the Heart brings a beautiful portrayal of teacher Roberta Guspari's true inspirational story of following your ideals with patience and persistence.
You guys, I'm trying to tell them how hard they're going to have to work, all right?
Take it from me.
For our final movie to honor our treasured teachers of the world, we have the powerful 1989 film, Lean on Me. Also based on a true story, it was directed by Oscar winner John G. Avildsen, whose other credits include The Karate Kid and Rocky. It stars Oscar winner Morgan Freeman as a passionate principal and disciplinarian, Mr. Joe Clark. The film starts out in 1967 as we find the young and spirited teacher, Mr. Joe Clark, engaged in a lively classroom discussion with his students. The school is Eastside High School of Paterson, New Jersey, considered one of the finest institutions in America at that time. During a meeting with his colleagues, he learns that they have agreed to have him transferred to another school because of his unique personality.
This place deserves exactly what it gets.
As the film leaps forward 20 years later, we find a very disheartening scene. The once prideful Eastside High School has fallen into total chaos, filled with violence on campus. Mr. Joe Clark, also known as Crazy Joe, is called in as the new principal to help turn the school around. But even he is in disbelief as he enters his former school for the first time in 2 decades. The challenge he faces is to raise the school score in the minimum basic skills test to 75%, or the state will take over the school. Principal Clark immediately institutes very strident rules, starting with his staff at their very first meeting.
To get those test scores up, so the state will not take us over to perform the task which you have failed to do, to educate our children. Forget about the way
He appoints a new security team, instructs the head of janitorial service to have the school clean at all times, but also wisely states, discipline is not the enemy of enthusiasm. He then expels all the trouble-causing students from the school. His next challenge lies with the parents. He needs to convince them that what he is doing will lead to transformation of the school into a prideful place of learning once again. Principal Clark's suggestions also include painting all the school hallway walls, encouraging healthier food choices at lunchtime, and having every single child learn the school song, The Spirit of Eastside Pride. The students begin to show more enthusiasm for the school and their education. When the preliminary school test scores arrive, They reveal a very disappointing 32% pass rate. Mr. Clark meets with the entire school staff to motivate them to teach like they have never taught before. To get to the 70% mark, he sets up special training for the students, offering them after-hours tutoring and even Saturday classes. Suddenly, the school and Principal Clark are reinvigorated with an even greater focus. Lean on Me won the American National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, Image Award for Outstanding Motion Picture of the Year.
Come on, Sam! You can do it! Don't give up! Be on time! School bell ring! 49. That's it, Sam! Stay with it, boy! Don't give up, son! Don't give up! High spell, east side Pride! High spell, Joe Clark, he's on time! Oh, okay. Oh! Holy cow! I'm out of here.
To Sir with Love, Music of the Heart, and Lean on Me are three exceptional films showing appreciation to teachers and the significant roles they play in our lives. Considerate viewers, it was a pleasure having you with us today on Cinema Scene. Coming up next is Vegetarianism, the Noble Way of Living, after Noteworthy News, here on Supreme Master Television. May wisdom and compassion be the guiding light in your everyday ventures.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/CS.